Hello, everyone. Welcome to the review of the game that has just finished 1-0 to Manchester United. I don't know if my nerves can take that much more. Someone decided to give me the keys and let me host this live hangout. So let's get started. I'm going to introduce the panel first. First, joining us from England is Dan. Dan, how you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. Not much vitally important win for Manchester United. Thanks for having me back on.
Always a pleasure. A win is a good thing. Jonathan, he's coming to us from the States, I believe. We got a whole host of Yanks tonight again, so we'll see how this goes again. How you doing, Jonathan?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
No
Still
problem.
not fully convinced with that United win, but it's a better improvement from last week.
Okay, and we'll get into that. Also, if you're watching us, if you could tweet us your questions because it seems that the live comment box doesn't work, so you can tweet us at Shreddy News TV, and we'll get some of your questions asked. Nate, all the way from Arizona, how you doing today?
Doing good, man. Good to see you guys. Nice win, 1-0. It's an away win in the Premier League. No complaints from me. It's good stuff.
Okay, well, we'll get into that because I'm going to ask you all after I'm done introducing you. I'm going to get a 5-word review from each of you to start it off, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of this. And then we have Robbie joining us too. How you doing, Robbie?
I'm good, thanks for having me on.
All right, nice kit. Looks good, So, I guess we'll start off. It was our first away game of the season. A lot of people weren't convinced, myself included, after the performance last week. I mean, we won on an own goal against Spurs. Last season we didn't have the best away form. We were actually dreadful away from home. And our first away win didn't come till November at Arsenal. So, 5 words, Dan. You start it off, and then we'll go through the panel. Give me a 5-word review of the game.
It was satisfying, a bit nervy,
That's more than 5 words.
but a win's a win.
Jonathan.
A better performance than last week.
Okay. Nate.
Away win in the league.
I like that one. And Robbie.
It could have been better.
I mean, yeah, I could go with that too. I mean, it always can be better. Villa came out, and you could see kind of that what they were trying to do. Most teams camp out against us, and they kind of did that. So first off, Jonathan, let me get your thoughts on the starting 11. It was a season debut for Adnan Januzaj, and the word was that he would play in the number 10 spot behind Wayne Rooney. So what were your thoughts on Januzaj starting in the 10 spot and anything else in the starting 11?
If Juan Mata wasn't in the team, I'm completely fine with that, but I think Juan Mata is the better number 10 because he is the natural number 10, and I think Januzaj can offer more with his pace and his flair out on the wing opposite of Memphis. Other than that, no complaints. I would prefer to see Herrera start in the midfield, maybe over Carrick. I'm a fan of both. It's hard to say. We have so many good midfielders who can play that position. So, other than that, I'm satisfied.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, one thing I think about when I look at the team and I look at the depth is that we can line up so many different ways to go against our opponent. If we're playing a Stoke side, we can go in there with Carrick and Schweinsteiger and have some real physicalness in there and some experience. So I think that's always a good thing to have depth. You touched on Juan Mata. Nate, did you have anything with him starting on the wing? Did you think you would see him in the number 10? And do you think he is the best number 10 for us? I mean, you saw that pass he had to Januzaj.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Same thing with Memphis later on. Juan Mata is obviously, in my opinion, our best number 10. I thought Januzaj did superbly. His match fitness isn't there. He hasn't played in 5 years. But totally stepped up. Totally happy with Mata. I do think he's our best number 10. Everything flows from there, and he proved it tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that was great vision to find Januzaj for the goal. Robbie, were you nervous at all going into the game? There was a lot of talk about Daley Blind, and we'll talk about his battle or lack thereof against Gusted. But how do you feel about Daley Blind starting at the center back spot? And when you saw this lineup, you saw Young benched. Were you confident going into the game?
I was confident we would get a result. But I thought if they started Gusted up front, I thought they would isolate Blind So I was quite happy when I seen the team sheet for them that he wasn't starting. And I thought we could have been fairly comfortable and won about 2-0, but a win's a win at the start of the season. You've just got to take the 3 points and move on.
Yeah, I agree. Romero really wasn't tested at all, so we don't really, we don't get a better idea as if he can replace David De Gea. That whole situation is still, seems to be lingering. So Dan, I'll come to you. The match started, and you kind of saw what United were trying to do. They were kind of trying to sit back, pass the ball along the back four, pass the ball to Schneiderlin, back and forth, and try and lure Aston Villa out because, Aston Villa want to camp in their own half and catch us on the break. What did you make of the tactics by Van Gaal to sit back and try and suck Aston Villa out?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they were it was terrible, but I didn't think there was enough going forward really in this game. I mean, we haven't really created barely any chances in this game again. For me, it's a little bit better than the Tottenham game, but I thought we could have gone at it a bit more because Aston Villa are a pretty poor side, to be honest. I mean, they're going to be down there. I know every game in the Premier League's a difficult game, but they're going to be down there somewhere near the bottom of the league. So I thought we could really get at them. I mean, even Bournemouth the other day looked like they had quite a few chances against Aston Villa. So I thought we could have gone at it more than how Louis van Gaal wants to do it. But I think he was trying to be a bit cagey as well in this game because of obviously our away form last season wasn't too good as you've touched on. But overall, still we've nicked the game 1-0. So as far as an away performance goes, we've done all right really because a lot of teams probably will still go there and have a difficult game as the season progresses because they're going to be fighting for their lives. So any win away from home is a good win, and I think he's done a decent job tonight to get us to win the game.
All right, Jonathan, I want to ask you the same question, but kind of spin it. Do you think Van Gaal has kind of learned his lesson away from home? He kind of wanted to play his style of game. Do you think he adapted at all, or was there anything that concerned you in his tactics? Did you see what I saw? Because that's what I saw, is that he would try and suck Aston Villa out in the first half and try and get them out of their own half and into ours to create some space.
Yeah, I agree with most things there. I feel that because we were trying to pull them in and we were trying to make those quick passes from midfield defender, zigzag across the field, that we gave away a lot of sloppy giveaways in the second third of the field, like that midfield. You saw that one where Juan Mata passed it straight to, maybe it was either Bakuna or Gabig Bundlehor, and like he turned and had a shot. He gave it right back to him on the 18. I think if he's going to play that, we have to be confident with our defenders moving the ball forward. I don't think that Smalling and Rojo want that responsibility. I think they just want to play the defensive part, and I feel like I don't see Rojo and Smalling as like attacking center backs, I guess. I see them more as like they just get the job done in the back. That's where someone like Blind would be more suited if Van Gaal wants to include the ball moving back and forth like that. I feel like once it reaches the midfield, it should from there spread and go forward. But I mean, every manager has their own tactics spin on the way they should play, I guess.
So you're not a fan of the possession game then, Jonathan?
No, I like when it moved right up the field.
Yeah, you'd rather see us attack. And I mean, that is the United way, isn't it, with wingers and counter-attacking and fast movements. And, it's something different under Van Gaal. We've had the same thing under Fergie for, 20-some years, and it was a proven winning formula. So I want to touch on something that happened in the first half, and it was, I was watching it, in America, so NBC was covering it, and it was the Darmian versus Micah Richards wrestling match that was happening. Nate, I mean, it was pretty clear that he had his arms around his neck, but I'm sitting there and I'm looking in the background and I see Smalling. Somebody's got a handful of Smalling shirt. So, it goes both ways. What did you make of Darmian's defending on the corners tonight?
Listen, that stuff is it's obviously not called the way that it maybe should be. It's quite interesting. Every ref maybe calls it differently. But clear foul by Darmian, no doubt. But I saw the exact same thing. Chris Smalling just getting mauled right over Darmian's left shoulder. Like, So, and then to hear the NBC Sports announcers that were on the game here just harp on it for like 40 minutes about how they didn't call it and how Darmian is grabbing in the box while every single ball into the box, every single corner, everybody's grabbing everyone. And it seems like it's becoming more of a trend where, hey, in the box, everything goes, and we'll play the ball from there.
Yeah, I mean, you see Ryan Shawcross, he's famous for it, and I think he did get a penalty called against him last season. You know, it does go both ways. And I want to say in his post-match interview, Micah Richards, credit to him, because he said, you know, I'm guilty of doing the same thing. So sometimes it gets called, sometimes it doesn't. You know, unfortunately for Aston Villa, you know, a penalty might have equalized the game and turned it on its head, and we could have saw something completely different. So, you know, we'll touch on Mike Dean. I'm going to get Robbie in here on the goal. Talk us through the goal, Robbie. Like, what did you see that you liked? You know, Januzaj obviously getting a goal. He kind of was fortunate with a deflection. So how did you feel about the goal and the timing of it? Because up until then, we really hadn't created too much, and it was kind of, you know, not nervy, but it was kind of slow, boring, maybe.
I thought that it was just the right time to get the goal. Mata, a great ball through to Januzaj. It just shows that to get the best out of Mata, I feel like you have to play him in behind the striker, number 10. And it was a good turn back by Januzaj to get the shot away. But it's lucky they got the deflection. But I thought after that we should have went into the kill. They were there for the taking, but we didn't do that. And but it was good to get the goal, and I thought we could get the confidence there and maybe score another few, but it wasn't to be.
All right. And Robbie, what can this goal do for Januzaj? What are you looking for from him this season? You know, me and Dan were talking on Twitter through the game, and he thought he was going to go on loan to Sunderland, but he said it was just rumors at the end. What are you looking for from Januzaj? You want to see him improve, obviously, but what can this goal do for his confidence? Can you touch on that?
Well, like, scoring a goal, it can do everything for your confidence. Everybody will say well done in training, and it's going to, if you can start him against Bruges or Newcastle, he's going to be confident running in behind defenders, and he can get the best out of him. He can come back in, score on his right foot as he done tonight, but you've got to see what it can do, and hopefully he can build on it and get a start against Newcastle, hopefully next week, and maybe against Club Bruges in the Champions League.
So you would start him Tuesday?
I think I would. I think he can offer pace. That a little bit of risk we were missing last season. He was willing to get in behind the defender tonight, so he could do that again on Tuesday night. We could get another good result and a good performance out of Januzaj.
Yeah, I mean, that could be great for him. You know, he's got the talent, and I've heard that, you know, he might need to work a little harder, but it's there. We can all see it. We want to see that from Januzaj. You know, we want to see talent come from the reserves or from the academy and do well. We got a fan question, Dan. I'm going to ask you, and I was going to get to it. What's your opinion on Memphis for this game? What I saw was him slow start, got into the game, and then, you know, he didn't really, you know, do too much. He had a shot that he probably should have scored, but what was your thoughts on Memphis?
Yeah, I thought that Memphis done all right. It wasn't a brilliant game from him, but as you touched there, he really should have scored that one in the second half where he was put through. I thought that was really a bit of a poor miss for a player of his standard who scored a lot of goals last season in the Dutch league. But hopefully he can build on things. He did have a really poor free kick from a long range out in the second half as well, but hopefully he can improve on things, because them chances that he got in that second half, I think really he's going to have to start putting them away if we want to be challenging and hopefully winning the Premier League, because Wayne Rooney was obviously well below par tonight, so we've got to be looking at players like Memphis to get us some goals this season. And I mean, hopefully with age he will improve on them chances, but overall I'm pretty happy with how he's settled in so far, because it's only his second game in the Premier League, and it's going to take him time to adjust. So overall, pretty pleased.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. You know, I said this on the preview for the first game, I think it was, and I said, you know, we're going to have high expectations for him because he scored 22 in the Dutch league, and he's just, you know, the talent is there. He's a fantastic player, but I think we all need to, you know, tame our expectations. You know, he's getting used to a new league, and he's getting used to a new team, new, you know, possession style. So we'll have to wait. So we're going to talk about a player's performance right now, who, I mean, how many touches did he even have in the first half? You know, we're going to talk about Wayne Rooney. So, Jonathan, I'm going to let you have first crack at it. Talk about Wayne Rooney and performance or lack thereof.
Extremely subpar, as mentioned. I think we should expect a lot more out of Rooney because this is the role he wants. He wants to be that solo, like, main striker man, but I think Hernandez should have replaced him later in the game, but I'm not going to go into that. But I think that Wayne Rooney, the route one ball we tried to play over to him multiple times. We tried to play, like, slip him in behind or, like, chip him over the top. I don't think that's the service he wants. I think Rooney works better when the ball is given to his feet and he can provide it back or make him, like, a turn on the ball. I don't think he's got the pace, or I don't think he's ever had the pace to chase down in behind a defender. These, like, lofted, I don't even chip through balls, I guess you'd call them. But it's early, 2 games into the season. I think we can still expect 10 to 15 goals out of Rooney before the season's over.
Yeah, but, I don't think 10 to 15 goals is going to be getting us where we need to be. I think, if we're going to win the league, we got to have somebody who's, scoring 20 goals a year. So some interesting thoughts. Nate, I'm going to go to you. A lot has been made about Wayne Rooney's first touch, again, or lack thereof. And I want to ask you this question. Is it the service? Is he just not getting the service? Because we've seen this last year with Falcao and Van Persie. Is it a combination of him not getting the service and him playing bad, or is it just him playing bad, or is it just the service? Talk me through it, Nate.
I absolutely think it's the service and both. I mean, the combination of the two have been lethal for him. His first touch, I don't know what's happened, concrete feet, but also the service. You usually see Rooney coming onto balls to score, crossing, coming through people. He runs at people every once in a while. It's not really his thing. But trying to take the direct route, I think, has been really tough. So not getting the service that I know he likes and that he best reacts to, plus just, I don't know, he always takes a few games to get going. Once he gets going, then things can go well. But, we're into, game number 6 as far as if you add the U.S. Tour, obviously. And he's still trying to find his feet. I know Van Gaal believes in him. I think we all believe in him, but it's kind of frustrating because we want to see him do it, and we need him to do it. We need him to score 20-plus if that's the plan this year. We're not going to pick up a striker. We're not going to try and challenge him with somebody even better maybe. So we need him to score those goals. So the combination of the two has so far been lethal. We've only had 5 or 6 attempts, I think, on goal in 2 matches, so it's not like he's getting a ton of service or mishitting balls, but when he does get a ball, it's just not played very well. So I'm hoping he can relax a bit. Maybe he's got the Memphis syndrome too. He's just trying too hard, knows he needs to score 20-plus, and he's trying to score 20 goals in one shot or something. I'm not sure what's going on, but I think he'll settle down and find his feet. If not, maybe we're going to see Chicharito a little bit in the next few matches and give Rooney something to think about, because obviously Van Gaal doesn't give 1 or 2 fucks about anything. So.
All right, Robbie, I'm going to bring this point to you because, Jonathan touched on it, and then Nate touched on Hernandez again. I think he'd be even worse, personally, in this system. He doesn't have the greatest touch either, and, 9 out of 10 times he's offsides. So same question to you. Is it the service, or is it Wayne Rooney, and do you think Hernandez could do a better job, or you got to bring somebody else in? And then on top of that, will Van Gaal drop him if this continues?
No, I don't think Van Gaal will drop him. He's the captain. He's got to play. He's the leader out there in the park. I just think it takes a little while to get going, Rooney. It's also the service. If he's not getting the service, he's not going to score the goals. He's the type of player that likes to drop deep. He just wants the ball. He's that kind of player. So you just got to give him time. You've got to let the new players bed into the new system, and I'm sure the goals will come for Rooney. And as for Hernandez, well, I don't know what he's going to do with Hernandez. I prefer him as someone who can come off the bench as an impact player and hopefully get a few goals for us this season.
So, Dan, do you think that Rooney being captain, is that going to affect, his not being dropped? Obviously, Van Gaal won't drop his captains. What do you think about the dropping of Rooney? Would you, if this continues, Dan, would you drop him?
Not for the moment, no. I certainly wouldn't drop him yet. I'd give it a few more games yet because as you've touched, I don't think Hernandez. I think Hernandez will probably be worse.
Let's give it a few games then. Let's say nothing's changed in 3 or 4 games. Let's talk about let's go down that road and say, well, in 3 or 4 games, if he hasn't scored, and I mean today we might as well have played with 10 men for parts of that game because he was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. But unless another top quality striker or someone comes in, I don't think we should certainly not replace him with Hernandez because he sent him out on loan last year, so I don't think he really had the utmost of confidence in playing him in the team, and now he hasn't brought him off the bench at all so far, so I don't think he's really that confident in using him. I think it's more the fact that we haven't brought anyone else in is the reason why he hasn't let him go so far. I mean, if Pedro comes in, then maybe he might play Pedro up front, but he's obviously not an out-and-out striker, so I would still like to see my personal one would have been Thomas Muller, but it doesn't look like that one's going to happen. But I just don't think we can afford to drop Rooney because I think he will be the best out of the ones we've got in the team. I don't think we've actually, even though I'm not that confident in him scoring 20-plus league goals this season, I think he's probably going to get more than any of the other forwards we've got at the club.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. We'll have to just wait and see what happens with it. Look, I love Wayne Rooney, and I said on a video with you, I think it was, Dan, I think he can score them. Will he score the 20 goals that we need? I don't think so because of the service. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I want to see Wayne Rooney firing in the goals, especially away from home. We need him away from home to fire in some goals because we were poor there last year. Minimal, chances today and last week, and to win the league, you got to score goals. You have to be able to defend, and I have been impressed with our defending. There was a period, right before halftime and just after halftime where Aston Villa were on the front foot, and they looked like they could have scored 1 or 2 goals. The final ball and the service wasn't quite there, but they had, they were full of it, and they were coming at us. Then Schweinsteiger and Herrera came on around the 60th minute, I believe it was, and they totally just calmed the game. Can you talk about that, Jonathan? Talk about the influence of Schweinsteiger and Herrera. I mean, come on. Most teams don't even have, players to come off the bench. We're bringing Schweinsteiger and Ander Herrera off the bench to calm the game down.
Schweinsteiger is that player. You can expect that out of him. He's been doing that. He's that player that he did that for Bayern Munich. You saw him. He'd come in. He wants the ball at his feet. He's the one who's going to tell you, even without the ball, he's telling the people with the ball where to go. You see him all the time. One late in the game, he slid in and saved the ball from going out of bounds. He's pointing like Luke Shaw, you come get this. And he's pointing. I think it goes to Pai making a run, you go there. And that's the player. He's the cap. Was the captain. That's what he's such a. If it wasn't for Rooney, I think he'd take that role over too. And I feel like that's naturally in him. And then Ander Herrera, I think that comes with being brought up through the Spanish system, kind of like Juan Mata, but he always played deeper than Juan Mata. And, I mean, look at Barcelona. They're the kings of the passing system. I know he didn't come through the Barcelona Academy, but it's the same aspect of you can bring them in, they're in control of the game. Herrera pushed a little farther than Schweinsteiger. It almost looked like a 4-1-2-2 at certain points because Herrera would get caught up the field, which isn't a bad thing because he knows he has his defensive responsibilities. And I feel that those are the players who you can use as impact subs, or you can use them to start the game in a game where you need to control the game, like against greater opposition, maybe Chelsea or Arsenal. You put them in, they start the game, and they control it, get us on the front foot, and then you bring in Mata to kill off the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Schweinsteiger is as cool as the other side of the pillow. I mean, he comes on, he dictates the play, things seem to slow down. I thought he was excellent. I'm so happy that we got him. But you touched on Luke Shaw, and I wanted to say something that I saw in the first half. I don't know if anybody else saw this or notices this, but sometimes, when we're going forward, Luke Shaw always seems to be open and always provides an outlet on that left-hand side. I thought, Luke Shaw did a good job today defending and going forward, and I think, like Van Hall, this is the season of Luke Shaw. I'm really excited about our fullbacks. So you touched on Ander Herrera, Jonathan. Nate, I want to come to you. Herrera came on, and he came into the number 10 spot. I personally think that he should start there. I know some people want Juan Mata, but I think Mata on the right and Herrera in the 10 role could be deadly. I know it's not the quickest, but they're one-touch movements. They're almost like twins. They know where each other's going to be without even having to say anything. Can you touch on Herrera in the 10 role, what it could bring to this team? Do you like that? And elaborate on Ander Herrera's performance today.
Herrera in the 10 role for me is not his best position. Putting him right next to Schweinsteiger for me and sticking Schneiderlin in front of the back four would be my ideal midfield. When they came on, I just had a tear in my eye watching Herrera come on, watching Schweinsteiger come in. I mean, they were just flowing because Villa was pressing, and I even tweeted, if we can get through this pressing spell without giving up a goal, we're going to have done pretty well. And obviously we did, but Van Gaal wasn't having any of it, and so he brought him in, and the game just shut down. We instantly controlled it within probably 120 seconds. Schweinsteiger shut everything down. Herrera was doing his thing. I think Herrera moving up into the 10 role takes away what he does best, which is getting in tackles. He's kind of that Paul Scholes player, not so much in the 10 role, but working in a complete midfield with Schneiderlin behind to protect so he can go forward, make tackles, and obviously, like he did last season, score a few goals. So I'd prefer to have Mata in the 10. His passing, his range of view, all of those things, those are unbelievable. He just does it better than anyone that I've seen in a while. So having Herrera next to Schweinsteiger would just be amazing. And I do think come on Tuesday in that Champions League playoff first match at home, I think LVG was tinkering a bit. He saw the way that we came in and just controlled the match, and I'm thinking he's going to want that to happen for that first match.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't disagree with anything you said, but you touched on when Schweinsteiger and Herrera came into the game, they shut it down. Robbie, how much of that is this system, though? Like we were talking about earlier with the possession game, you have Aston Villa, you're trying to suck them out, and you're making them chase shadows. They're chasing the ball all game. And you kind of saw them get tired towards the end. That is in my opinion, an effect of the possession game. Were you impressed with that?
I thought when Schweinsteiger came on, we retained the ball quite well better than we did before he came on. But I thought when Villa were getting tired, it was because of the pressing we were doing. We were shutting them down quickly when they were trying to bring the ball out of the defence. And when they were trying to bring it out, Schneiderlin was coming in, and obviously Rooney, and they were shutting them in a tight space together. And that just made them lose the ball, and then gain it back and pass it about blind. And I thought we could keep the ball very well and bring it into the midfield from there.
So you were impressed with our pressing game. And did you see the Monday Night Football with Jamie Carragher trying to get on us, how we play a dangerous game?
Yes, I've seen that. But when you play dangerous games, you sometimes get the rewards of it, and
high risk, high reward.
That's it.
Excellent. So before we wrap it up, we're going to get a man of the match in a minute. I want to talk about something that was, I saw on other channels, I saw on Twitter, and it was, Daley Blind's going to get eaten alive by Rudy Gestede. He's absolutely going to get, you would think that United were just going to give the ball to Villa, and they were going to say, here, hit it to Gestede. People were making a huge deal about this, and I said it, every week it's going to be the same thing. This striker's going to tear Blind up. That striker's going to tear Blind up. Oh, Daley Blind's going to be a liability. And I thought Daley, he even won a header against Gestede. I don't think he went up against him a lot, because Smalling was excellent in the air, I thought. At one point he was like 4 for 5 against Gestede in headers. So, Dan, can you talk about Daley Blind's performance today, and Chris Smalling versus him? It's something that was touched on so much. This was such a big deal to people, but really, it was almost a non-factor to me.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you there. I thought that Daley Blind did his job fine today. I personally don't think he's going to be the long-term man in that left-sided centre-back position, but overall, I thought he did the job fine. Obviously, Aston Villa didn't really pose too much of a threat for us. I mean, we're obviously going to come up against sterner opposition probably over the next few weeks, but overall, we've kept 2 clean sheets in the games where he's played. I mean, Chris Smalling did fantastic. Again, I think he's really has improved. I wasn't really a fan of him before last season, but he really has come on. I mean, he really had to up his game to keep his place in the Manchester United team and obviously to get in the national team. And I think he's really has come on leaps and bounds now. I mean, he's 25 years of age, so in the next couple of years he's going to be hitting his prime. So he's really got to be that main man in that centre in the defence. And we'll have to remain to be seen who's going to play alongside him if we do bring another player in. But for now, I think probably Blind can do the job there in some of these lesser games until we get someone really commanding in there. Unless obviously Rojo comes back in the future, but for now I'll just probably stick with Blind, because he's going to let Rojo probably play 5 or 6 reserve games before he actually gets back in the fold anyway. So so overall pretty pleased with the defending, because I mean last season we had so many games where David De Gea was man of the match, which is it's great to see that Romero hasn't really in 2 games hasn't really had to pull off many world-class saves, has he? I mean, that first game he pulled off a few saves, but only sort of saves that you'd really expect him to make, nothing really too major, which is great to see.
Yeah, Chris Smalling is winning on and off the pitch. I don't know if you've seen his girlfriend, but he's doing very well. You talked about Romero, and really the only thing I had a problem with Romero was I thought he was trying to be too cute at some times at the back. Just hit it long if you're not sure. But, like you said, he wasn't really tested today, so he didn't have to do much. So we're going to go on to man of the matches. And before that, I'd like to thank everyone who's watching. It seemed like it's been floating between 25 and 35 viewers. If you could, do me a favor and chuck a like on the video. It would mean a lot. Let us know, your thoughts in the comment. I know there's no comment box, but leave a comment on the video and give it a like. I would really appreciate that, and everybody else here would. So we're going to go through man of the matches. Mine was Chris Smalling, because I thought he was good in the air. Other than that, I don't think anybody stood out, really stood out besides him. Obviously there was good performances, but as far as, man of the match worthy, Chris Smalling gets my nod. So we'll go to you, Jonathan, next.
Mine was Darmian, and I have some stats from Squawka Football. He has 9 clearances, 5 tackles, 5 interceptions, and 1 block. And I think coming off the performance he had last week, which was, again, phenomenal for a Premier League debut, I think he's a very big step up from Rafael, and I think he's proving that he deserves to be here, and he deserves to be in this first team week in and week out. And I'm maybe a little biased. I am Italian. I do enjoy seeing a good Italian in the Man United team.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm Italian too, and I had seen Darmian in the World Cup in a few Torino games, so I kind of knew what he was bringing. And not only did he do great by the numbers, he puts a good chokehold. So Vince McMahon might try and steal him from us. Can't be having that. He's not for sale, Vince. Go away. Nate, man of the match.
Yeah, my man of the match was Darmian as well. He was last week for me too, and if I could pick, I'd pick Darmian/Shaw. They have just been a revelation for us, so I was proud of what Darmian did. Yeah, he grabbed him around the neck, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And in the end, he has been a revelation. There used to be this guy that was playing at right back for us. I can't remember his name. He used to be a winger, but I can't even think about that anymore. I'm in heaven right now.
Yeah, Valencia, I think he could be a good fill-in player, kind of like Blind is. Valencia played in central midfield against Everton last season at home. He did okay. He's okay to come in when we have injuries, but he shouldn't be anywhere near the first choice 11. Darmian, it's nice to have a right back, something we haven't had in a while. Rafael had an excellent season, our 20th title-winning season, but from there, maybe Ferguson left it. He said it killed him, and he could just never stay healthy. So, Robbie, man of the match for you?
I would go with Daley Blind. He made the most passes on the park, and 95% pass accuracy. So he makes everyone feel comfortable on the ball in defence. So I've gone with Daley Blind. I thought he had an excellent night.
So Robbie, before I go to Dan, do you think Daley Blind could be the long-term solution?
No, not in the long term. I think teams are going to expose him in that centre half role. They're just going to put a big striker on him. And he's not going to know how to deal with it. I'd personally get a good tough centre half in who like Blind can bring the ball out for the back, but is a big tough player and he can deal with those kind of players.
Otamendi. Dan, man of the match.
I'd have to agree with you on the Smalling one. I think Smalling was fantastic again tonight. Really has these last few games that I've seen him has really impressed me. So I'd give him man of the match, as I gave him man of the match against Tottenham as well.
Yeah. I can't disagree with any of your choices. We actually all picked a defender. I know there was no standout performers in the in the front line or even in the midfield. They did their job, and that was good enough to get the win. I think more importantly, we've come in, we've gotten 2 clean sheets, we've looked good in possession, we set up very well. That's the thing I like a lot, is how we've set up behind the ball. So more to come from us. There'll be a preview, I believe, Sunday night, and it'll be a Stretty Sunday for Tuesday's match against Bruges. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's tons of great content on here. Look through the history of the channel. Some good interviews with journalists. Some great away day vlogs, and there's always more to come from everybody here at Stretty News TV. Thank you for watching. Please chuck a like on the video. Leave a comment with your thoughts, man of the match, anything else you want to talk about, and we will.
Hey, before you sign off, we have to give a happy birthday to Herrera. Obviously, he came on, did well, and Athletic Bilbao are beating Barcelona 4-0 in the first leg of the Cup. So he's having a good day. So happy birthday, Ander.
Thank you, Nate, for reminding me. Yeah, happy birthday, Ander Herrera. We're so happy to have you at the club. That's a crazy scoreline. And I heard Bayern Munich were tearing up Hamburg as well. So football is back. To let us know also, I didn't get to ask this question, how you like Friday Night Football. I loved it, because now I'm going to go get hammered for the weekend and wake up tomorrow with a hangover and watch Southampton play somebody. So thank you for watching. Have a good night. Have a good weekend.